I think over the last week I've been in a real habit of being contrarian, so I'm going to be contrarian yet again. So this isn't going to be a kind of video where I'm like, oh, it's dangerous because it's dealing with the left-wing establishment or whatever. It's not going to be one of these kind of tacky, almost boomer-esque videos where it's like, YouTube's dangerous because we're spreading ideas and winning the war of ideas. No. I think that YouTube is legitimately quite dangerous for society as a whole and for every single person involved in it. And allow me to explain why. So, what is YouTube's aim as a business? YouTube's aim is to produce revenues, not necessarily a net profit. Now, how does it do so? It does so predominantly through ad revenues. People clicking on the ads, so that they can generate a higher ad rate and therefore get money from the people that are asking for the ads to be placed. Now, how do we maximize this ad rate? We give people what they want to click on. And how do you generate a maximum amount of clicks? You show people exactly what they want to see at that exact moment and show them more of what they want to see. And therefore, as people spend more time on YouTube, people will click on more ads that they like. So therefore, any effective YouTube algorithm needs to keep its users in areas where the people actually like the content, and therefore it must curate the content to the tastes of the user themselves. But this also means excluding things that could potentially change that person's life for the better, because they won't click any ads because they won't be familiar with it necessarily. Now, why is this such a huge, extremely dangerous problem? We have a generation right now, Gen Z and Generation Alpha I think they're called, that are growing up using computers. And they're using predominantly YouTube in order to view videos. So they have this very, very curated corner of the internet wherein nothing they will look at will offend them, because if they're offended they won't buy. I mean, some of you guys may have noticed how incredibly effective the algorithm is. You can start up a new account and 3 or 4 searches in, you will have an effectively set curation list. You will get all of the same topics and there's very little you can do about it because of how you have played with the algorithm. Now imagine how much that would impact a 5-year-old, for example. They're watching certain things and they might keep the account for quite a while, and it just keeps them in the same areas of YouTube, not really considering the rest of the world. Now, of course this will stunt the education of a 5-year-old who's basically watching YouTube 3 hours a day, but even more than that, the more dangerous thing we have kind of seen with political YouTube, with something called purity spiraling. So what is purity spiraling? Purity spiraling is used to describe a person who is in a particular ethical, political, or religious situation who develops into it to such a point where it starts affecting their character in a very negative way. For example, those people who purity spiral on the right end up with these ridiculous, unrealistic views of what they want to implement, and it's the same with the left. Now imagine this on a society-wide level, endorsed by an algorithm, where an entire generation uses that algorithm to curate its content for a significant chunk of their day. I'm sure that many of the people watching this are in fact in this situation. You may just be realising this now. People who are involved with the NRX and the right-wing communities, the left-wing communities, all watching the same content over and over again because that's what the algorithm recommends to them. But the problem is with this is not only does it produce this purity spiraling effect, but it also disconnects you from reality. Because reality is a lot more multifaceted than any ideology can ever present, because the world is an almost infinite thing. This whole phenomena has already radicalized lots and lots of people. I'm not original in pointing it out. But what I would like to propose is how you personally can get out of this. Because I have a suspicion that a large chunk of my audience is in this particular rut. Now you're going to need 2 tools for this. The first tool you're going to need is in private browsing. Because even though it's not really in private, it doesn't program the algorithm such to the point where you're getting shown the same things over and over and over and over and over again. And the second tool, which I'm going to link in the description, is something called YouTube DL. Now initially you're going to find YouTube Downloader, or YouTube DL, to be kind of a scary tool, because it requires you to use the command line. But don't worry, because all you have to do is type the command, YouTube-DL, and then add the URL, or the link to the video next to it, and it just drags it off of YouTube for you. So it doesn't impact your recommendations, and it also means that you're not constantly spending hours and hours surfing YouTube aimlessly and mindlessly. The only thing that's required in addition to these two tools is self-discipline, which is something that this entire channel is devoted to. It's even possible to pretty easily download entire channels with this tool. And I give you full permission to download my entire channel this way, including the Renaissance Man content if you've got access to it. I have no problem with it. Just go ahead and download. Because then, not only will you be able to listen to the content with less distraction, but also you won't end up, as I say, stuck in these ruts where you're just watching YouTube for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours at a time. And now you're not spending all of your time fermenting in these content creators' opinions, and now you've got the videos just on your computer to just watch them. Now you have a lot more free time. So using that, you can destroy your purity spiraling by going out into the world and talking to people. There's nothing stopping you watching YouTube per se here. It's just a matter of using YouTube as a tool as opposed to the algorithm of YouTube using you. I hope you found this useful. I understand that this is hard to implement, but so is everything in life. So it's time to implement this. See you guys. Thanks so much to all the new Renaissance Man subscribers, because we've grown massively over the last month or so. So many more people are enjoying audiobooks and controversial videos than were before. So I really hope those who are watching would consider signing up, because these people are clearly enjoying what they're getting. Thank you very much for watching.